Jeez, we got this. How did I even start the other podcast, man? I actually don't even remember how I did it. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Robert Verdugo podcast, The Return. Straight out, it's been such a long time since I've done something like this. It's been a long time in general since I've actually got in front of a camera. And today's podcast is basically just going to be about me just talking what's been literally my last video. If you guys have not seen it, it was a very, very, very difficult video for me to actually do. I've never been so nervous, never been so just in general shaking, just always had my toes just shaking. And at one point in the video, I actually had to pause and I cut it out because I started crying. I'll be perfectly honest with you, because it was hard. It was hard to admit the flaws that I have or that I had. I'm always going to be using past tense from now on, because that person in that video is the person before that video is no longer the person that I am anymore. It was a shadow of my anxiety, a shadow of my depression, and something that just devoured me, my personality, my physical appearance, everything about me. It just, it took away all the greatness in what I now see that I actually am. And to begin with, I really can't explain the words and the love that I have for every single person who sent a message out, who sent a text message out. It really, it's crazy how much support that I got. And this is one thing when I stepped out to the video. One thing, I was really, really scared. Now, in this podcast as well, I'm going to try my best not to swear. There will be times where I will, but that's okay. We're all not perfect. But yeah, just I can't remember my train of thought. It's been so long, man. I'm really excited now. I can't hold in my excitement from doing this stuff now. So one thing I was very scared to do, or something that I thought was going to happen, and it's really bad to think about, is how I thought there were going to be a lot of dislikes, a lot of people saying, hey, you've flaked for so long, we don't want your shit anymore, we've moved on. And also hey, you look fat as hell, why are you even here? And that's definitely not the case anymore. It was the complete opposite, man. It got to a point where I stepped back and was like, what the hell is actually happening? Is this real life? Is that how many people actually watched the video? Just sent out a heartwarming message. I was speechless for about 2 days. I was very speechless. And I can't express how grateful I am for every single one of you. It is, it's crazy, man. A simple message as, hey, I really hope you're okay and I'm glad you're back. That, for me, is fuel for the motivation that I have right now. It is crazy how all these messages just added more fuel and just ignited something inside of me that wasn't there this whole entire year. I remember, I think I said in my video, it was about roughly the Japan period through just afterwards, after the Japan trip, things just started going downhill. And I'm looking at it now, and obviously because I might as well tell you guys as well. As you guys are seeing, this is actually my birthday, as of the day that I will post this, and I actually am going to see a counselor on my birthday. So that's something I want to admit. It's something that I know, it's something that I want to do, and I know it should happen. And that goes for anyone who, is down in the dumps, is experiencing some sort of shitty feeling, and you don't really know what to do. Go see someone. I've neglected it for so long, to a point where I'll say I do it and I never do. And then it not only affects other people, but also affects me, because at the end of the day, it's up to you to do. It's up to you to get on board and do it yourself, because no one else is going to be like, hey, you need to go, I'll pick you up and get out of bed and do it. No, no one's going to do that, because that shouldn't be someone else's priority. It should be your own priority. And a friend said to me that if you don't go, or you just end up pushing the date back or whatever it may be to go see someone, you're only letting yourself down. And that is completely true. You just go, you basically, I know it's pretty bad to say, but you might get worse. It depends how you take it, and it depends what kind of methods that you maybe can research yourself in order to implement to get better. But definitely just talking to someone, it'll really help. And I know going tomorrow, or as you guys have seen this today, I know it's going to help. It's going to be very confronting for me, most definitely, because first off, I'm already afraid to talk on the phone. I get like major anxiety just trying to talk on the phone with someone that's a random, whether it's my mates or something. I'll pick up the phone and say whatever. But when it comes to someone that I don't know, oh man, my hand shakes. My voice starts cracking. It's so weird, and everyone gives me shit for it, but I can't help it. Like, I just hate talking to someone that I don't know on the phone, and it's something I'm uncomfortable with, but I've got to learn to deal with it. Life is about doing uncomfortable things and getting out and exploring new adventures and doing new things. So even calling up before, which I literally called like 15 minutes ago before recording this, even doing that was a big step for me, and knowing I'm not going to let myself down and go tomorrow is already a big step for me. So but I'm a little bit sidetracked. I just thought I'd point it out there just to, give you guys an update about what's going on as of now. But where was I? Oh yes, the Japan thing, because I know I might bring this up when I go, but I started seeing a little bit of just my anxiety just really went up tenfold after the Japan trip. I think a lot of it has to really do with the fact that when I went there, I was already putting on a little bit of weight, and knowing I'm like, fuck, I'm going to be here. I'm just going to eat all this shit that I can see, because I really love Japanese food, and it's just insanely good and cheap. And at the same time, there's some garments that I'd seen and be like, man, I can't fit in this shit anymore. And like, I wasn't like this like 2 months ago. And that was really a big step back for me. It was coming back and being like, fuck, I've now can't fit into most of the clothes that I already bought. Like, I bought stuff a little bit smaller to know that I'll get back on track. And I never did. I never did. And after that Japan trip, along with that, the flying issue that I have is something that I really hate. I've explained this on my previous podcast before. My trip to Hawaii, came back. On the way back, long story short, thought I was going to die. It's stupid. It was just really bad turbulence. And the fuel that added to that fire was that someone who was on the plane, who was actually a flight attendant, was like, oh shit, this isn't meant to be, this isn't good. So prior to that, flying in general, I just hate. And the day afterwards, as always, my anxiety goes up a lot. Like, my sternum would hurt and I can't get out of bed. But looking back at it now, that is not the person I'm going to be. I know for a fact that I will fly eventually. And by I mean eventually, I'm going to fly, not quite soon, obviously, but one day, I'm going to just take the step and be like, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to fly. You know how a plane to go down, touch wood, obviously, it's like 1 in a million or something ridiculously high, like low chance to happen. So worst case, get on the plane, take a Phenergan or something, or take some just sleeping tablets and just knock out. But after the Japan trip, like I said, just weight went up a bit, and weight for me is a really big thing, and I'll get to that soon. But just weight in general, when I came back, I just wasn't feeling right, and then it just spiraled. I came back and I was like, okay, I graduated, I'm happy. My graduation actually wasn't at the end of the year, it was halfway through 2019. So even then I kept thinking, all right, I'll pull my socks up, get into something nice for graduation, and it just snowballed. And I just kept delaying it. Got angrier, I just wasn't happy at all. Came to graduation day, I was happy, I was very excited, and just the atmosphere of graduation and, accomplishing something, was something really big for me. And I always thought that whole time, it was like, my parents were really proud of me, and they always said to me, we're so proud of you, like it's something that no one in our family has done, so you should be really, really proud of what you've achieved. And one thing I've been doing lately as well is every single night before I go to bed, I will jot down 5 simple things that I'm grateful that happened that day. So it's as simple as that. It could be as simple as, hey, I'm grateful that I just woke up today and I'm alive. It could be as simple as that. One example that I will use and that I've actually used was my car. And yeah, I own a Toyota Supra, but that's not the point. The point is I have a car and I can go anywhere I want to go. For instance, I've been going out for a lot more walks. I'm going out to kick the footy. I'm also into my AFL now, which is really weird. I always hated AFL football and just was like, that's such an Aussie thing, and I was never a part of that. But looking at it now, I love it. It's so fun to just go out and just kick the ball, as simple as that. So knowing that I have a car and I can just drive down the road and do it is something that, you know, some people don't have. Most people in the world might not have that and don't have that opportunity to go and just do whatever the hell you want to do. Like, you can get in your car, you can drive somewhere and go for a hike. You can go in your car and you can drive halfway across Australia if you want to. It's something as that is being so grateful, and that's why I'm happy to be in that position to have a car and go just do the stuff that I want to do. So that's one example that I use. And another one is just basically people who I'm around. I really try to appreciate the moment that I'm in, the surrounding that I'm in, and really take in how happy that I am and how grateful I am to be in the positions that I'm in. So that's something I do every single day, and it's been working a lot. As well as you guys would know that I've started my weight journey. I've started to jot down my measurements, my weight of every single... I'm not putting measurements every day. It's just at the start, and I might look back at it like 4 weeks later. But at the same time, just putting the weight in every day. Yes, there's going to be days I'm going to be bigger than others. There will be days where I'm less than others. And it's just all about a gradual decline. That's all it is. And one thing I look back on is I've done it before. I can do it again, and I can do it better. That's one thing I want to get into is the Jocko podcast. If you guys don't know Jocko, I don't really watch a lot of him, but this one video that my friend Grant had actually sent to me was one of the most just motivational videos that I've ever watched on YouTube. It is insane. Basically, the title is Jocko-Broken. So this video goes in depth, and I've actually posted it on my IG story before. This video goes in depth about how individuals, what happens, like what do you do when you're broken? And broken could be a lot of things. It could be whether you're physically hurt, you could be mentally hurt, you could just be spiritually just broken. You don't know what to do with yourself. He goes into depth about what can you actually do when you reach that certain point in life where you've just neglected everything. You fucking hate everything. You have no passion for anything. You neglect everyone around you. You don't talk to anyone. You're just, broken. And one thing that he said, I've actually got it written down here as a quote, is that when you break, you have the opportunity to show the entire world what you're really made of. And that quote is so simple, is to that when you break and people are going to know that you're broken, you have the opportunity in your hands to grasp it, to relish how broken you are and flip it on its head and come back even stronger. And Jocko went into detail about relishing about being broken, knowing that you've hit your point and knowing that that is your body's limitation. But that doesn't mean you can't exceed that limitation. It's about using your brokenness, your negative energy, and changing it and using it as fuel for positivity. And I'll go back to fuel for motivation. Before, when people were messaging me in the DMs, comments, everything, that's all just added fuel. And for my motivation, that's really just went up a notch within the past couple of days or so. One example I'll use for my fuel was actually on Thursday when I posted the video. So I posted the video, and that day I'd actually gotten up at 6 a.m. and I could not sleep. I reckon that morning, I had like 3 hours sleep, and I was running on adrenaline the whole day. I hang out with a couple friends. Later on during the day, went to kick the footy, just went out and just got some fresh air, hung out with everyone of my group. And then it was 10:30, And I posted the video at 10 o'clock and I was shaking because I didn't know what the reaction would be. Half an hour later, my DMs were flooded with just crazy amounts of love. And I had already known I was supposed to go to gym that day. And it was 10:30 and I was so extremely tired to the point where if I closed my eyes, I probably could fall asleep prior to posting the video. The response that I got, I saw it within the first half an hour. I'd already seen like, whoa, this is actually like what's going on. Like as if I got this reaction from people. It was crazy. And I went to gym and I'll tell you what, I'll tell you right now, that was the best workout I've ever had this year, hands down, the best workout. And it's crazy because I was off 3 hours of sleep. I didn't eat anything that entire day. I was running off motivation. And yes, motivation, I know it can be temporary. It's something that comes and goes. But one of my friends had said to me, his name's Jordan. If you listen to this, man, thank you. He gave me one quote a very long time ago, and I still remember to this day. Motivation is temporary. Discipline is forever. And it's about being disciplined. It's about holding yourself accountable for what you've done and using it as fuel to do anything that you want to do. So if you guys definitely want to check out that video, please do. I will leave a link for it in the description of this video on YouTube. If you guys listen to this on SoundCloud, just jot down Jocko, JOCKO podcast broken. And it's a quick 4-minute video. It's astounding how in depth he goes about as simple as using how shit you are or how shit you've become in terms of mentality, flipping that on its head and using it to get out and do anything that you can do. So that's really good. And yesterday, going on to the topic of, what kind of methods could you do? It's all about self-care and all that stuff. I know I'm going a bit of a tangent, but anyways, I listened to Swimming yesterday. Swimming by Mac Miller. And I mentioned this in my video about how Swimming by Mac is really a selfish album and it's probably the most selfish album by Mac Miller. Rest in peace. It is, a lot of people see selfish as being a negative connotation. Oh, dude, you're so selfish. Why can't you do this for me? Dude, you're so selfish. Why, it's just the thing that everyone throws around and it's so negative. But at the same time, it's not. Because being selfish actually can be a good thing. It's about, not necessarily neglecting everyone and pushing everyone away from your life. Sometimes in the case that will happen, and sometimes you just need to focus on yourself. And being selfish leads to being selfless, what I would think anyway. Because a massive popular quote that everyone would hear is that you can't love anyone until you love yourself. And to do that, you need to be selfish. And, once you hit that point of selfishness and you've realized, hey, like, this is actually who I am. I'm, upbeat, outgoing, just dedicated person in life. Then you can, start to focus on everyone around you and start helping everyone around you with certain issues that they might have. So anyways, yesterday I was listening to Swimming by Mac. I've actually got it on vinyl. I've got 2 copies. You're probably wondering why the hell do you have 2 copies for? The first copy I bought was the first vinyl I've ever bought. And it was like, it's probably my favorite album by Mac Miller just because it was a really heartwarming and just really nailed down raw album that he had done. So that was the first copy I bought. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to get a second one and it's a brand new copy, unopened, and I'm going to leave it that way. So anyways, I put it on, sat in my room, and I just sat there. I just looked at it, like just looking at my speaker. It was really weird, but I was like, you know what? I'm going to start to finish and really just grasp the rawness, the lyricism, the actual words, and the meanings behind certain sentences within this album. And I'd hit self-care. And that, for me, is probably one of my favorite songs ever. Just hands down in general, my favorite song ever. just the beat switch is just freaking insane. Like, come on, man. It's a tremendous. Oh, it's a crazy beat switch. When I first heard it, that's if you could choose one song you wish you could hear again for the first time, for me it'd be Self-Care. Because I remember the first time I listened to it was on when he brought it out as a single before the album came out. I watched the actual film clip, and that's how I got my tattoo of Memento Mori. I've actually got it tattooed on my arm, which, future video I will show off my tats. But in the coffin, he's got that engraved, and I was just watching this video and thinking, holy shit, like, this dude's being selfish. Like, this is such a good thing. And just the whole music, the whole song in general is just amazing. But anyways, the main point I want to talk about of this song, or the main point in this song, is this one line. This one particular line that really stood out to me yesterday when I listened to it. And for some reason, listened to the whole song again I've listened to it thousands of times. And for some reason, listening to it yesterday felt like it was the first time I'd listened to it. It's really weird. But one quote, which I'll point out, I've gotten written down here, is actually just after the beat switch, when it goes into part 2 and it's labeled Oblivion. He says, "Well, don't know what I was missing. Now I see a little different. I was thinking too much, got stuck in oblivion." The Oblivion reference in part 2 really got to me. And I finished the song and I started tearing up for some reason. I was thinking, like, why? It really, really struck a nerve. And it was just like sitting there, like, wow. Like, it really clicked for me that in my case, reflecting on myself and, putting the pieces together in reference to me linking my life and my situation to this song, the Oblivion reference is that for me, actually, you know what? I'll go into the mental state definition of oblivion. So the actual definition is, it's typically used when someone drinks to the point where they become unconscious and forget their sorrow. So they'll use an outlet, whether it be alcohol, whether it be drugs. They use it as an outlet to just float away, let their mind drift away and be in a state of, I would even almost call it limbo, to just be in a state of autopilot and just not worry about anything, and your mind is just gone and your body is just still sitting there. So the Oblivion reference for me would be, I was in autopilot and I had lived this whole year with no conscience. I was so unaware of anything and everything that was going on in my life this whole entire year. I'll tell you this right now. I've been doing Uber Eats part-time this whole year. Part-time, full-time kind of thing. It was just whenever I wake up and I'll do it. And there'd be days where I'd have a schedule and I would go out and I'd be like, you know what? From 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., boom, I'd be out. And then 5 to 8, boom, I'd be out. Some days I'd stay from 5 to 10. Some days I'd do like an hour and be like, nah, screw this. I'm done because I'm not getting anything. And that just added fuel to my anxiety and fuel to my depression, because all I'd be thinking is, I'm not getting any money. I'm not getting any money. What is going on with me? Am I going to be broke? Like, what the hell is going on? So the whole entire year I was doing that on and off, and I didn't have a job. And people always say like, oh, you're jobless. I'm like, yeah, but I got Uber Eats. Yeah, it's cool. But at the same time, like, it's not a job. Like, yeah, you can do it full time, but it only lasts so long. And this whole entire year, that's what I've been doing. And it got to a point where I'd just been autopilot, wake up at 11, go and do it for 3 hours or an hour in the morning. Like, I'll do it from 11 to 12. I'll get nothing and be like, all right, screw this. I'm going home. I'm going back to bed. Or I just wouldn't do it at all at lunchtime. And then maybe at dinner time, I'd go out. And I didn't do it for a while. So what the hell was I doing in that time? Well, I wasn't doing anything. Fuck all. Legit. Fuck all. I'd get up at midday and just dwell. I'd procrastinate. I'd say I'll do this. I'd say I'll do that. And I just never would. So that's how honest I want to be with you guys. That's what has been going on this whole entire year. And that's what I want to reference with Oblivion too. I was at a point where I'd be in autopilot. I would be there, but I actually wasn't there. It's really, how else could you put it? Your boy's sitting in the room, but he's not actually fucking there because he just mentally he's gone. He's not there. Like, I'm not talking to anyone. I was neglecting my fiance. I was being a prick. I was being, sorry for the foul language, but I was being a cunt. I was a straight out miserable, selfish, negative terms of selfish prick. And that's not right, man. That is not fucking right. That is not, I wouldn't, like, looking at it now, I can't believe that was me, because as of lately, like, I've never felt in such a clear state of mind. And it's really, for me, that's really easy to say. Like, it's weird. It was as simple as getting in front of a camera and just saying it how it is. And, it's kind of holding myself accountable and knowing that I'm going to fall through with it, because if I don't, I'm going to let you guys down. And then what's going to happen after that? Yes, I'll definitely get a negative response if that happens. But it won't. That's the thing. It won't happen. Because I'm kind of speechless at this point. I don't have a draft of anything. I was just speaking my mind for this whole podcast, but that's not who I was. And I don't want to let anyone down at all, including myself. That's the main person I don't want to let down, is me. I want to come through this. I'd always say, a lot of people would always be asking me, and people in person, like my mates would always ask, bro, like, where's the videos, man? Like, why aren't you posting anymore? Where have you been? What's going on? And I'd always respond. I'd always have the response, I don't want to get on camera. I have nothing. I can't fit into anything, and I'm going to leave it, and I'm going to do it in 2020. And some people I've said to, hey man, look out for the videos in 2020, because that's when I'm going to start. Nah, man, fuck that shit. Fuck that. No chance. I've still got 3 months. I've still got 90 days. 90 days, which if you count up the hours, holy shit, that's a lot of hours. That is a lot of time still left in this year. And at the end of the day, some people would always look at it and be like, dude, you going on from, your December time, you're like, you know what, I'm going to start the new year, fresh me, whatever. That's not, like, the day that it changes from midnight to 2020, nothing's changed. The only thing that changes is everyone's mentality. As soon as it becomes January 1st, boom, their mind just clicks and they're like, all right, it's the new year, new me, new resolution, whatever. And that's why you see so many freaking people in the gym from January pushing to maybe March. If you're lucky, people go through March. And that's not the case. It shouldn't be like that. You should look at it as, hey, I'm fucking up. I'm doing all this shit that's wrong. Stop doing it. Just stop it. Wake up tomorrow and start doing something, because I have 90 days before 2020 comes around, and I want to start now. I've, put time away, dedicating 2 or 3 hours a day and going through job applications and doing it properly, and going through and tweaking the resume, tweaking the cover letter, doing everything that I can in order to get my foot in the door for what I really want to do. And that's the next question that would haunt me, is, do I actually want to do this? I'd always wonder, was me working 9 to 5, like, am I going to fucking hate it? Am I going to come home every single day and be miserable old fuck? That's one thing I'm so scared of. But you know what? You're never going to know. You're never going to know until you get your foot in the door and get a taste of what you actually want to do. And yes, I did marketing. I graduated. I did a Bachelor of Business Marketing at La Trobe University. And I know that's what I want to do. I know I like the marketing aspect of selling a certain product. Like, what kind of market would this particular item be for? Is it for people in their 20s? Is it people in their 40s? You don't know. And that's where you got to do a bit of research. Google Analytics comes into play. I use that quite often on my actual YouTube. Get to dive in who actually is my audience. And I feel like in the long run, that sort of info that I have is going to work wonders in my field that I want to do. And what kind of brand do I want to look into? I want to look as simple as into Adidas, Nike, or even just low tier brand, or just a marketing company in general that seeks out new clients. And that's something I'm really looking forward to, and hopefully getting in before the end of this year and stepping my foot in the door. So I'm really, really excited about that. And honestly, after the video that I posted, oh man, the taste for Ricky Dicky, it's coming back, bro. Dude, like, I don't know why, but like, I'm on Facebook, right? I'm only on it to talk to my mates, look at some danky memes, look at some spicy, juicy memes, and also Facebook groups. And for some reason, like, I don't know how, but for some reason, all that's coming up is a lot of Rick shit. And it's annoying me because I don't have money for that. And I know, like, I'm so keen to start wearing Rick again. Like, I'm so excited because it's something that I used to love. And I can't wait. Like, I honestly can tell you that I am very, very excited for what the future holds for me, for this channel, my style, whether it's still going to be the same, whether it's going to be a different type of style, I don't know. And that's the excitement of what the future is. It's crazy that the future could hold anything. Like, anything could happen. And one thing that I know is going to happen for me is I know for a fact, and I pictured this last night and this morning too. I was thinking and picturing in my mind, what am I going to look like in my Rico and crop trousers? And I'm just thinking, like, fuck. Like, they're insane, bro. They're so nice. They're nice fitting. They're so tailored and cropped, and they fit with everything that I used to wear. And that's something I'm going to go back to. Whether I'm going to get back into my remotes, I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to go out for something different or not. But just in general, like, I know in this certain point of time, I'm not financially stable to afford any clothes. This is something that I wouldn't really think many YouTubers would ever speak about this. And I'll be upfront and honest with you, are you financially stable enough to go out and afford $500, $1,000, whether it be even $300 pieces of clothing? A lot of people just look at the vids and be like, fuck, he's got all these new pickups, man. They look so sick, so sick. But a lot of people don't ever think about, wait, hold up. That's a lot of money. Like, that is a ridiculous amount of money. And I respect everyone in the field of YouTube and the fashion YouTube community. I respect every single individual who has the hustle to go out and afford all these types of clothing, because at the end of the day, that's their job. Whether it be that they recycle it within a few seasons and get their money back and flip it for something else, I don't know. But for me personally, like, I don't have a job at the moment. I'm not going to go out and afford a $2,000 piece, or even as simple as like a $200-$300 piece. I can't do that. And I know, like, looking back at it now, I was never that type of person to be like, oh, no, fuck it. I'll just live broke and just afford these types of clothing. I was that type of person, and now that's not who I am. If I'm not able to afford for, whether it be simple bills as paying a phone bill, paying for petrol and just food, and not going out food, just food to survive every day, and make sure I stick to just lower carbs and just protein pretty much. You got to put that aside first. And then if you can, sprinkle a piece every now and then. But in terms of, affording clothing at the moment, nah, man. Like, nah. As disappointing as that might sound, like, the next best thing I can go to is thrifting. And at the same time, I still can't fit into anything as of yet. So I know I will in the future. But for the time being, nah, man. Like, that's not for me. Another thing that I always had my eyes set on was a turbo. It's not a hard topic to talk about. It's just, I've realized a few things. So like I said before, I've got a Supra, and it's an NA and it's a 5-speed. So an NA is it's a non-turbo. People say, it's so freaking slow, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's slow compared to a turbo car, obviously. And if you're not into cars or anything, just stick with me for a minute. So basically, I want to drop like $7,000. Just I think it's about 5 to 7K on just parts, labor, and getting my car quicker. I'd spent about $2,000. And that was a very stupid decision. Like, it was dumb. And I'd messaged the company because I dropped it all at once. I dropped literally just under $2,000 worth of car parts. Got it and was like, yeah, this is a G-up. I got all these car parts. Like, it's so overwhelming. But you know what? I'll get there. But looking back at it now, no. It's not happening. It's a setback, and I'm fine with that. And it's for me. It's not for anyone else. It's for me to acknowledge that, hey, like, you can't afford this shit. Like, I'm jobless at the moment. I can't fork out $2,000 worth of shit and live broke for months on end. No, that's not happening, man. Like, that's not me. So I messaged the company that I bought my stuff from and was like, hey, how are you guys with refunds and change of mind policy just because something has come up? And I really can't afford to have these. That's literally what I told them straight out. I can't afford to have these. What do you go about refund policies? And they were straight up honest. They're like, hey, that's fine. Just, we're going to take off 10%. And it got really bright all of a sudden. What the hell? They said, hey, the only thing we have to take off is 10% for restocking fees, blah, blah, blah. But anyways, that was it. Straight out, I'm happy as can be. It's another thing that I don't have to... It's another piece of the puzzle that I put together. Along with going out for the walks, kicking the footy, going to a counsellor, getting rid of the car parts. It's putting all these pieces together and being in a clearer state. Like, obviously in the future, it's not to say like, I'm never ever going to have a fast car. Like, my car is never going to be fast, because it will be. It's just not at this point in time. And I'm happy with that. And talking about this now kind of makes me realize, like, hey, you are in a much better state. It's like, I sent it off today, and when I got rid of it, it was like, I'll be very, very honest with you. When I gave her the box and I paid, I was thinking, I just gave you a bit of my anxiety, and, the depressing shit from me just kind of went away with you. And it's going where the fuck it's going, and I don't have to worry about it, because it was sitting right there in front of me, big massive box with all this shit. And another thing that I was thinking about was, how am I going to do all this? Because I have no idea. So it's on hold. It's not like it's never going to happen, because it will. It's just that there's other priorities in life that I have to focus on first. And I'm very, very happy with that. So that's another thing which I've used, and another step I've taken in terms of just, better self-care. And other stuff, just drinking a lot of water. I don't have any water on me. It's over there, but I don't want to get up. But just in general, going out and just appreciating nature is really good. Another thing which is so funny that I'm really happy I did. You can follow me if you want. I've actually got I've got a private account on Instagram, and I post the stupidest shit. Like, that's the thing. Like, with my you could even, I don't want to label it as business Instagram, but like, the Instagram for my YouTube is mainly fits, and I never have time. I didn't have, the market to post dumb shit as an actual photo. It was always, all right, what fit am I going to post today? And now I have that freedom to go out, take a pic of something, and be like, haha, that's funny. Or just like stupid shit in general. Or even as simple as something as motivational as taking a photo of me or video of me squatting in the gym and posting on my private account. I'll tell you now, I don't give a shit if you guys follow me or not. It's Verdugo Private or Verdugo.Private. It's something like that. You can look for it. You can have a bit of a sus. You can have a bit of a laugh. Post like selfies with my mates. I posted one yesterday, and I posted just a photo of the footy ground because it's just really nice. It looked like it was going to rain. And my caption was, "Look out on the next Degoe." No, I laughed. I fucking laughed when I put it because it was like, I love Degoe as an AFL player. He's a fucking freak. Literally got an obsession with this dude and just is sick. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna post it for a laugh. I'm the new Degoe, bitches, and I'm so shit at footy. Like, I don't care. I'm so bad, but you know what? I'm gonna learn, and I just kick the ball, and it's fun. It's just, how can you explain it? It's like as soon as like you kick the ball, it's like that punch of just happiness when you kick it. It's that feeling when you just make good contact, and it's just a sweet feeling, if that makes sense. Yeah, if you want, follow me on Prive. That's pretty funny. It's good shit. And yeah, we've gone like about 40 minutes, and I'm pretty happy with that. I really hope you guys stuck around to the very end, man, because it's exciting. It's good stuff, man. And you know, fucking happy birthday to me, even though when I'm recording, it's actually not. But you know what? 24, 24, it's not old. It's not young either. Oh, I mean, that's the thing though. People always say, look at 24 and be like, hey, you're still young, man. Like, you still got your whole life ahead of you. And that's really the case. Like, end of the day, man, I'm only 24. Like, fuck that shit. Like, when you turn 30, then you'd be like, okay, I'm 30. That's a little bit pushing. But it's 24, man. Like, I got, all the time in the world. Max said on self-care, I've got all the time in the world. And, just focus on yourself. And whether it be everyone else out there, I forgot to mention as well. It's another note that I had that I quickly wanted to talk about, was that everyone else that messaged me, I'm really proud of you guys. Like, I'm very, very fucking proud of every single one of you. I had a lot of people say, hey man, like, I've stuck around with you since Jerry days, the Jerry boys, the zip jeans and all that shit. The Y3. Oh, what were they? I can't remember what the hell they were, but it was black and ZG knits. That's what they were called. Hey, they were a fucking hard shoe. That's a hard shoe, but it's labeled as such a Jerry boy thing. But anyways, a lot of people will be like, hey man, I've been with you since Jerry days, and like, you've changed so much for the better, and so have I. Like, you've been such a big motivation to me. The way I've used to style like you, and then progressing into a much cleaner, more matured style, I've done the exact same thing. And this whole time I was thinking, like, legit, like, did I actually do that? And I never thought about that this whole entire year, and really at all. Was like, did I actually inspire someone to, pick up a few pieces that I owned or style in a similar way that I did, which was I don't give a fuck, I'm going to put up a piece together and hopefully it comes together type of style. Legit. I was very shocked, and a lot of people message saying, hey dude, you're the reason that I lost so much weight. You're the reason that I'm got to my goal weight, and I'm happy with where I am. Like, I'm so fucking proud of you guys. And that for me is added fuel. It's fuel for my motivation, man, because it's amazing. It's incredible what humans can achieve and what the human mind is capable of. The human mind is a very dangerous thing, but it's also a very beautiful thing at the same time. It's like, just you could be physically okay. You could be 6-pack shredded, ripping 200 kilo squat. But if you're not mentally there, man, and you're just always anxious, you've, state of depression, like, that shit can haunt you, man, and it can leave a scar, like on Jocko said in his broken video. That shit leaves a scar, but it's a scar that you need to embrace. So a lot of people, for instance, stretch marks, and I know I'm going on a bit of a tangent, but I'm going to keep going. I'll end it I'll end it very soon. Stretch marks, for instance, is a scar of putting on weight or losing a lot of weight. And it's called embracing it. You got to embrace that shit. And anxiety and depression and everything like that, it does leave a scar, but it's in the past. And it's about moving on, not becoming that person that you don't want to be, and diving out and doing something about it. So I'm very, very excited for what the future has installed for me and the future of this channel. The next couple of videos are going to be very exciting. I'm so fucking keen. My tat videos, everyone's requesting a tattoo video, and it's just, going depth about every single one that I have. I don't have a lot, but it's another passion that I love. I love. It's so sick, man. Just artwork and just putting pieces on your body that represent who you are in that point of time, and looking back at it in a couple of years and looking at it like, damn, like that was a good time of my life. And that should be for every single piece that you go through, is being like, wow, like that's a sick piece. And, I'm happy. I'll give you a quick example. Actually, no, I'm not even going to show you. I'm going to leave it for the next video, because that will be the next one. So I really hope you guys really enjoyed this podcast, as did I, because I really enjoy doing this stuff right now, and I'm very happy where I am. So thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for listening to this podcast and sticking around and being supportive of this channel. I really hope you have a great day, and I will see you guys in the next podcast. I'll catch you guys soon. Have a great one. I'm out. Peace.